everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha Lori Monaco, and welcome. Happy Tuesday, and look at Gladiator Guru looking all hot. Woo!
Hola, Milagros. Thank you for the compliment. Milagros, did you get the package? You know what? I think I don't wear makeup anymore, hardly, especially not to work. But it's like I'm beautiful because I'm awesome. Every day. We gotta start but I don't think there's anything more beautiful than when a woman compliments another woman on her beauty of being. You know, when a woman laughs and when a woman sachets, like she doesn't have a care in the world, and it's just her manner of being. I think that's beautiful. When women tell people, "You are so beautiful," or "I love your laugh," I think that is the most empowering gift we can give somebody in that day. Do you agree, Milagros? Oh, she loved it. Yes. I think when I see women and I say, "Oh my God, you look beautiful in that hat." Half the time they look at me like if I'm weird or if I'm coming on to them but you know what? It's never stopped me from complimenting a woman. I'll tell somebody, "Oh my God, you have the most beautiful smile." And I usually say that when they're not smiling. And that's what they do, exactly what you did. And sometimes people just need that. So be the better human today. Be the better human and let's normalize being kind. Even if it's just for this Tuesday, March 28th. Can you believe it's already the end of the month? Yesterday, I don't know what I was doing. I know what days I'm living, right? But I don't know what I was doing. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be April on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, I remember planning to go to Connecticut on March 9th. Like, I don't even feel like I've been back that long. So what I'm saying is our days are getting shorter. Be kind. Normalize making someone smile today. Like that should be your awareness. Like, I'm gonna make 10 people smile today. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I have enough time to make that many people smile.
Oh, that would be a really good goal, like to set the bar for everybody to say, okay, so today you have to set it, like challenge it on Facebook or something and say you have to make at least 5 people that you don't know smile. That would be very
Yes.
interesting.
That you don't know. You know what? And I think we have been so caught up in our own mind, our own whirlwind of what ifs and shoulda, coulda's, and I can't trust nobody. And you know what? People need people. And it's not about not being able to trust people, it's about choosing the people. And because there's a person for everybody, no matter how ugly you are, how big, how small, you look around you, especially at an airport, and you're amazed at, like, oh my God, there truly is someone for everybody. And but it's true, right? And I think that when we realize that, then it softens up
Ugly
our
love.
perspective on people, right? So just be kind. It doesn't cost you anything and you can save a life. So make that your mission today.
So being kind, would it be kind then to say to the ugly person, say, "Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. You're so ugly, but I'm so happy that you got found someone. That's wonderful." Is that being kind?
I know it's not. I think people look at us and think we're ugly because you and I can look at the same thing and I can be like, ugh, and you can be all in for it, or and vice versa. It's like a piece of art. I could when I had my art show in Norwalk, there was one piece I was gonna leave behind because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I painted that. I'm not gonna take it. It was the first piece I sold.
Isn't that funny?
And that was such a life altering moment for me because it all goes to what we perceive to be good, bad, and ugly. It's sent to us in the opposite way. So just be kind, because my husband was ugly when I first met him. One day I'm looking at him, I'm like, what the heck am I doing?
I don't
And we
think
were
so.
just in the dating stages, and I'm not ashamed to speak my truth, because I used to tell him, like, you are so not my type. This was divine intervention. And he's like, well, I don't think you're the pick of the pot either. And I said, oh, thank you, Sylvia. And I was like, So, and that's how we got it. We argued, fussed, and laughed every day, but we were honest. And the thing is that sometimes this right here is fading. It doesn't matter how beautiful you are, how much money you spent. This is a fleeting beauty. It's the
That's right.
kindness and gratitude in your heart.
I always think of that movie, Shallow Hal, where it was he sees the beauty. He gets the gift to see the beauty in people.
Yes.
He has no idea what they really, and some of them were matched. Some of them looked exactly the same when he came out of it. They looked exactly the same. But I loved that movie for that reason, because
yes. And we all have those lenses, but we choose to be a part of the masses of society of, oh, well, so and so said this. And you know how many people and people close to me, good morning, Carmen, that only follow what's trendy, even though they like it or not, but just to be in the in of things. Can you imagine how awesome you would be, with your machete cutting your own trail? That's going to, yes, I did, Carmen. Visualize yourself in the woods with a machete. There's nowhere to go. You don't know where to go. There's people that started late behind you, right? And because you carry that kindness in your heart, you're scared. There's no path. You don't know which way's up, but you're going to forge your path. You're going to take that machete. You're going to cut down all the weeds in front of you as you take one step at a time. And you're cutting and you're cutting. And then you are setting the path to end up somewhere, right? You don't know where, but you have enough faith in yourself. You have had enough acknowledgement of what your courage and strength are. And you have the awareness that if you don't do it now, you're lost. And that will lead us into this subject that we're having, because when you don't only think of yourself, when you don't only think of how expensive your shoes are, your purses, the car you drive, and you are enlightened. And I'm not saying it's not good to have that. I don't care to go into Google and find the name brand stuff. If I do, I'm excited. It's my style. But I'm not ashamed to say I shop at Goodwill or the clearance rack in any store. I don't go to any rack. I go to the clearance rack, because you know what? Everything ends up on sale. And what am I going to brag about? Oh, Lori, I spent $200 on this shirt. Do you like it? And it looks just like your Walmart shirt.
I'm a big fan of used stuff, because I really, really do my best to recycle, reuse. So I'm a big fan of that. So, and you could always find some great stuff, and you could accessorize, and you make your own style. So
look, I'm in the midst of transitioning my life again. So here's one earring, and I said, I'm going to wear this earring, but I couldn't find the other one. So I forged my path, and I just put my woman empowering one. Here you go. They're both gold. So you know what?
Oh, it's one of those days again with her internet, huh? All right. Hopefully she will come back on in a moment. So what we'll do is, while she is there, she is out, let's quickly set our intention for the show so we can get to the conversation, since we are behind. Let's set the intention. So as always with Viva Cafe con Leche, create an intention for today. Set your intention for wherever that may be. And I'll do Gladiator Guru's part, go with gratitude. Okay. Always be intentional in your day. That's to you, Carmen A. Nieves. And be grateful. And you can shift that any time of day. You can set intentions throughout your day. Okay. Let's do the mantra quickly. And say it loud, say it proud. This way we could get right back on to once she gets hooked back on. All right. Here we go. I am a disruptor. I am unapologetically courageous. I am spiritually grounded. I am magically orgasmic. I feel like I forgot one. Nope, that's it. And I keep it real. That's awesome. It feels weird to not have the person saying it back to you, but I figured for time permitting, this way when the Gladiator Guru comes back on, we can just dive right into the conversation. So good morning, Gwen. Good morning, Editza. Sylvia, we're happy to have you on. And please don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe. You know, I finally have 2 laptops going and I'm looking at YouTube at the same time. We don't get as much activity in YouTube, but we would really love for you to be a subscriber to our YouTube channel if you are not. And we would love for you to share it. So please, when you get a chance, go back to our YouTube channel and share a video that you felt was pretty powerful and send it out to people. Just hit the share, get the link, and then send it out to people. You can email it, you could text them, check this out. This way we could get some extra views on there and get some more subscribers, because we really want to spread the word this year, especially. We haven't really worried about the numbers because we're not numbers people. And the only reason we want to spread this year is because we think we have, well, we don't think, we know we have great information to share. And we really, really want to share it with the masses, because we need to get the information out there. This world is absolutely crazy, and whatever way they can hear it, if they resonate with us, great. We would appreciate that. So, all right. I'm going to get to just a reminder that we are in the last week of Accountability Month. Remember our quarters. We're doing our quarters. And so our quarter, we're ending the first quarter in knowing thyself. So we are in the last week of accountability, and we're going to be celebrating accountability today by giving you things to do. So we've talked about accountability all month. We were hoping that you have been working on yourself, but just in case you have not made the time for it, or haven't been doing it as much as you should, or feel like you're not quite getting it, we're going to give you practical tips and considerations for you to take with you. So get a pen and paper and start doing these things. And from this point going forward, once you get the hang of it, accountability comes really natural. And then you start just being that way. We did talk about how challenging it can be when you're not used to being fully accountable to self. But the moment that you step in and really, truly be fully accountable to yourself, it's a game changer, like an absolute game changer. You will completely change who you are on the outside, what people see, and you will be showing your truest self. Okay. And vulnerability is not an issue. So good. Glad to have you back, Gladiator Guru.
Yeah, I had to step out for a moment. The computer told me.
Good
morning.
This is what I did. I set the intention and did the mantra so we could get that out of the way. And so we could just get right into the conversation while you were doing that. So,
wow. So you just cut me out of the mantra.
I did. Yeah. I did. Giving you plenty of time to share what you need to share aside from the mantra. All right.
Okay.
So, so today's conversation is about, well, let me get the right mouse here. Today's conversation is time to own this. Okay. We're ending. I told everybody, reminded them that we are ending Accountability Month. This is the last week. We are ending the quarter of knowing thyself, and we're going to be stepping into the next quarter called What's Possible. And for the next 3 months, we're going to be talking about beliefs. We're going to be talking about behaviors. We're going to be talking about understanding self and your capabilities. And then we're going to head into that third quarter where we're going to hit the summertime and we're going to be taking action. So this is going to be very, very exciting. And we're going to leave you with a lot of really great nuggets today. So please do make sure that you are writing things down. All right. So
and always when you're writing, let me tell you, the most important thing is you can listen to people talk. You can pay all this money to listen to their mastermind classes and get their books and copy shit down on your own notebook You know, the bottom line is, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that everything begins and ends with you, then you're wasting your money and you're wasting your time, because a notebook can have many, many, many lines and sentences and ideas written in it. But once you close it to go on to do something in your daily life, that's just a thought like, oh shit, I wrote something in a notebook. So make sure you believe what it is you're listening to. Make sure you believe what it is you're copying. When you feed your spirit any outside information, make sure it is to nourish and not to keep you hungry for more, so you're never satisfied with what you have. Because it's not about yesterday or tomorrow, it's about where you are today. It is about thanking God that you have today. So you can plan for tomorrow, but you can't be there. So it's not about, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. No, let's talk about what the fuck you're going to do right now. So with that, write what you want, read what you want, but always walk in your truth enough to know what you need to sustain with you at the moment and what you need to cut. You know, like when you're baking cookies or a cake and you make the design, you got to cut the edges off, or any leftover stuff. That's what you have to do with your life, with the information you receive, with the people that are in your life trying to get in your ear. You got to really watch them, observe them, because they don't lie. Their mannerisms don't lie. Their patterns of being, of little things here and little things there, don't lie. So be an observer of people and their actions and their words. It's a whole package deal. That's how you acknowledge who you are and you're aware of what you are. Okay? It's everything around you. It's everything outside of you, but it starts with everything within you. So let's go on. Knowledge is power when you apply it in your life. Of course. Good morning, Chanel. And Elitza. Sorry. All right. Let's move forward.
Okay, so we put together a list, and there's 20 things on this list, and Gladiator Guru has already touched on one big one, because that's what this has been all about this whole entire quarter, knowing thyself. So knowing your truth. So you could write this down and work through it. You know, like you don't have to do all of it all the time, like every single moment. These are just for thought. Like it's food for thought. It's for you to really look at this and give yourself, if you're a person that sort of needs the guidance, needs the steps, you know, and it gives you that option as well. So the bottom line is this, and this is what Gladiator Guru was saying. You have to connect with what you're learning. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. You know, it doesn't matter what somebody says, try this, try that. If it's not something that you connect with, you're not going to do it. But you do have to make an effort. So figure out at first what works for you, but don't discard the other things, because you just might not be ready for them yet, right? And so you move on to the next thing and to the next thing until you grow and grow and grow. And then until you can look in that mirror and say, oh my gosh, I'm like 100% accountable for who I am and my actions, what I say and what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start, because then that's going to take me to the bus stop. I'll finish the list before I go to the bus stop, and then Gladiator Guru could take over and have the conversation on it. All right. Number one is know your role in your life. Okay, like again, this is and number two is be honest with yourself. So know your role in your life and be honest with yourself. You have to know who you are and know your titles, know your roles. Now that doesn't mean those are the roles that you want to play. It's just the roles that are current. You're like knowing you're right now. You may say, I don't want to play that role anymore. That's fine. That's a good start, but know where you are right now. So it's where you're starting with right now. So know your role in life or roles currently in this moment in time. Be honest with yourself. Number three is apologize when applicable, including to self. You don't have to apologize for things that are not your fault, but that's the point of accountability, is knowing when things are that things that you have to take accountability for, but especially to yourself. Don't beat yourself up about stuff. So apologize when applicable, including to self. Number four is use your time wisely and value it, whether it's with regards to yourself or to others. With regards to self, meaning be mindful of any type of procrastination that you do. But to others is saying yes or saying no, knowing when to say yes or no. Number 5, don't overcommit or commit to things you really don't want to do. Number 6, reflect daily on how you did. If daily's kind of challenging for you, then do it weekly.
Why would it be challenging?
I don't know.
Why would you holding yourself accountable to your life? You live daily. You live every day. So I hear that. I've heard that not only from you. I heard it on a show that I was watching at 1:00 in the morning. And they said that. And I'm thinking, why would us writing anything down about our lives daily difficult? That's how we lose touch with ourselves. I'm sorry. I was just thinking that
okay.
as I'm trying to go to sleep at 1:30 in the morning, because you are your greatest investment. You are the greatest investment you're ever going to make. I don't care if you own 20 pieces of property. You are the greatest investment, but you can't take out time daily to write a sentence, a word, one word that describes your day. You can summarize it in one word. Trust me.
And you don't even have
to. Could have been better.
You don't even have reflection. Could also just be just thinking, how was your day today? How'd you do? And it helps. Sometimes it's habit that you just don't do that. Make it a habit. Make it something that you say at the end of my day, the last few minutes of my day before I go to sleep. That's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm. Get off TikTok, Instagram, and take a couple minutes to write something about your life.
That's right. Good morning, Wanda.
Hey, Wanda.
Okay. Number 7 is to create a personal mission statement. Number 8, set goals, whether they're big or small. Big goals, small goals, you could set them for yourself. Number 9, use lists. If you need to write things down just to keep yourself in check, then do it. Doesn't work for everybody. I love lists. Check marks when I did it. Check mark. Number 10, find an accountability partner. And the accountability partner is not just for them to keep you accountable, but you also want somebody who is in the same, like either right where you are or maybe a little further, because it's reciprocal. They hold you accountable, you hold them accountable, and it makes you feel proud to help them as well. Number 11, reward yourself. Number 12, do one task at a time. You could do more than one in a day, but don't overwhelm yourself and go, I've got to make all these changes. Start with one and then see how fast you can get through them. Number 13, celebrate your strengths and improve upon your weaknesses. What you deem as weak will not be weak much longer because you're growing. Number 14, get feedback from trusted sources, people that love you and will give you honest feedback. Not the people who are going to bullshit you, not the people who are just going to just push you to the side. Yeah, you're doing great, or criticize you. You want people that are going to be honest, compassionate with you, but straight with you.
So you got to choose that wisely.
Yes, and it's not easy. Not easy. Number 15 is start small and build up. Okay, don't just jump all into it. Sometimes you want to do that, but it's not always feasible, And you get frustrated because when you're not seeing the results right away in yourself, then you're like, forget it. I'm just not going to bother.
Yeah.
Number 16 is create a schedule. Create a schedule so that you give yourself like a timeline. And it doesn't have to be like hard fast. Like if that stresses you, just by this time, I'd like to see this type of change. Just give you something. Number 17, practice self-care. Don't forget about yourself. Okay. That is part of the change. Being accountable is taking care of yourself. Be accountable to you, taking care of you, this vessel. Number 18 is stay organized. And organization could be mental, emotional organization, could be your clutter in your house. Anything that distracts you is going to distract you from building upon yourself and being accountable. So look around and decide what in your life needs to be organized. Could be your email. It could be your social media. It could be anything. Step away if need be. 19 is forgive yourself. Show yourself love and forgive yourself, because you can't change what happened in the past. You can only start with today and move forward. And then number 20 is let go, which goes along with forgiveness. All right. So these are all the conversations. That's the conversation for today. Anything stand out to you, Gladiator Guru, that you would like to specifically focus on? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you when you said about let me see, there's quite a few here. When you do one task at a time, you're not slowing yourself down. If anything, you are propelling yourself to not have to correct any mistakes coming. And I've been very guilty of all of that. So I think that was really good. Let me see. Let me go in order. Use your time wisely. Procrastination. Every word in the dictionary, every word that since 2020 people have said, oh, change your mindset, get rid of it, kill it, destroy it, let it sit outside and dry up. That's bullshit. Because every word that we use in our vocabulary has a positive and a negative, and it's totally goes to how you are using it in your life. So procrastination, sometimes you need it to sit in peace and invite your power back. Yep. People will call that procrastination. You will berate yourself because, oh, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. No, you're not. You're recharging. So you have to be mindful of it, is the operative word here, not procrastination. When somebody says being mindful of procrastination, the masses will only focus on the negative of the word procrastination. But the operative word is to be mindful. If we're mindful about something that people perceive as negative, then we can find the balance within it. Because it's not anyone's fault around you, it's your own. What are you doing with that time that you're just sitting there? Go ahead, Laura.
Let's go deeper with that, because we've talked about this before on the show. Understand your procrastination. There's two types of procrastination. There's active and passive procrastination. Passive procrastination is the one that most people think of. It's the one where you just really don't do anything. You just put it off. Somebody else will take it, or it just never gets done. Active procrastination is where you wait as long as possible, and then you do it very last minute. And what I've learned about myself is I do procrastinate, but I'm more of an active procrastinator. I will always get it done. I just will sometimes wait till last minute because I focus better in that kind of rushy environment. And rather than stressing about it, I've learned to really embrace it and say, I know I'll get it done. Like, I know me, and I'm gonna take this time and just be more relaxed. And like Gladiator Guru would say, be more introspective. And then I know that it's due on this day, I'll get it done, and it's going to be fantastic. And if it's not working out and it's making me stay up late, it's making me work harder, I'm taking that accountability. I'm responsible for that. I'm good with that. And ever since I did that, my life has been a lot less stressful when it comes to hitting deadlines.
Mm-hmm. And yet, Chanel, it's true. Like, people in my family never understood how I would just go to sleep. It don't matter what was going on, who died, whose funeral, I had a plan, blah, blah. I'll go to sleep. And they're like, oh my God, you don't care. Sometimes I think your heart is, how you just going to go to sleep? Because I can't do anything about it right now. Sometimes you must procrastinate in order to then say, oop, have that light bulb, that epiphany, have that firecrackers lit up your ass to get you moving. And I'm always, give me 30 days to do something that's important. I'm going to do it on day 29. And I'm going to get it to you awesomely. Because I work well under pressure, which others will call procrastination. Oh, you should have got it done when you first got it. You would have had all this time. First of all, you don't create my schedule. See, and that's what the noise we got to keep outside of ourselves. Because everybody has an opinion. So you have to say who you are. So on the list, of let me get it up, that Laura wrote. Create a personal, number 7, create a personal mission statement. You know what? This is a question I want to ask you that are on. What is your methodology? Everyone should have a methodology. And when I was in life coaching school, we had to write one. We had to pick something, um, and then for each letter, write what our thing is. Don't ask me because I'm in transition, so I don't have that notebook with me. But there's like 5 pillars of methodology, right? And what it is, it's a body of methods and rules, disciplined of set procedures of your life. So let's say divine. Your life coaching thing is for divineness. So for every letter D, you would write something positive, something proactive that you are going to give out. But what are the 5 pillars? It's very easy. Some of the stuff that are here, and then I combined it with 2 other things that I'm always speaking about since the beginning of Viva, and I've written in all my books. Why? Because it's very imperative that you understand them. And I picked 5. 7's my number, but 5 because it stands out. Now, the 5 procedure pillars of methodology is to 1, sort, set in order. 3, shine, baby. Shine bright like a diamond. Standardize, okay? Don't glamorize, standardize. Sometimes we're all looking for glamour, and that's attention seeking, so you're never going to get to the root of any situation in your life. See how I didn't say problem? To the root of any situation, because sometimes too much of a good also spoils. So any situation, standardize, sustain. That was 5. Now, if you compare them to number 1, sort, to acknowledge, set in order, accept, right? To shine, that allows you to feel because you're one with yourself. That shine doesn't come from the outside light. That's from within. So you're feeling. To standardize, not glamorize. Standardize. When you standardize, you can release what you do not need. And to sustain is to celebrate in awareness. When you're sustaining the true being that you are, then what you're doing in your being is you're celebrating the awareness of the life you have. So again, the 5 pillars of methodology is what was on her list. 1, sort. 2, set in order. 3, shine. 4, standardize. 5, sustain. What does that equal? Balance. Acknowledge. Accept. Feel. Release. Celebrate. But now we're going to go one step further because it's just the rules of Mother Nature. You see, you smell, you taste, you touch, you feel. That's 5. You see, you smell, you taste, you touch, you feel. You acknowledge, you accept, you feel, you release, you become aware in your celebration. And your methodology, where it says create a personal mission, you're going to sort it out. What is your life? You're going to set it in order. You're going to shine with your own inner light. You're going to standardize, not glamorize. That's very important. When you standardize your purpose, you don't need the fake glitter and confetti. What you need is to be present in your life as you're walking your truth. Anything extra is just that, extra. And then you sustain. You sustain by walking in your truth, being who you are, being aware of everything and everyone around you. And that's how you move forward in life. You can't move forward. You can collect the 1,000,001 list. You can have on your iPod or whatever it is, a playlist. People talk about playlists. I'm like, what's that? I go to YouTube and listen to music I like. What's your playlist, Pandora? I shuffle, motherfucker. So that's right. Choose who you are and be okay with it, because you are all you have. You can be better or you can be worse. It is always your choice. And that's what we're talking about. Be aware of what your plus and minuses are. That's all you have to do in order to survive in this world where there's such uncertainty right now, that if you don't figure out who you are, you're going to be walking in fear. Everything's going to frighten you. Everything's going to seem like there's no what's that word I'm looking for? Anything you hear that's negative, you're going to soak it in. You're going to let it be absorbed into your being, because you're going to believe, you're walking around with blinders, that there's nothing you can do to change it. There's always something we can do. Whether it's stand up and fight, or it's stand up and walk away if it's not your fight. But the choice is always yours. And that's what we are being fed. So you know what? When you walk in your truth, when you believe, when you make lists, when you write your methodology, when you, I'm trying to find the list again, I'm sorry. When you set goals for you, when shit hits the fan, you're gonna know instinctively what to do, what decisions to make, what to eliminate, what to organize, what to observe and absorb. I mean, go back and listen to the shows. We put our hearts since January into creating this until today's show. You know why? Because we needed it, right? And if we felt we needed to hear this and to feed each other this, then why not feed it to you out there? Because you know what? Shit's changing. And we need to be prepared mentally, spiritually. We need to get it right with Jesus. We need to mentally build our barriers, our walls, that we're only gonna absorb what we need. You know, it's like when someone serves you a big plate of food, but there's stuff that you normally, your body normally eats, but then the majority of it you leave. But then you got some people that feel guilty because you don't want them to get upset that you didn't eat their food and you eat everything. No, eat what you need, absorb into your mind only what you need to sustain you. Observe and absorb what is healthy. So yep, that list. I maybe Lori can write her list down somewhere for you to copy it, because they're just reminders, and we need reminders in everyday life. But don't forget who you are. Don't try to be anybody you're not. The ugliest thing anybody can do is try to copy somebody. Be who you are, because you are just as important as the 6-figure, 7-figure woman out there singing on stage, or the CEO of a conglomerate. You are just as important with your minimum wage job. There's no, when you respect yourself, you don't see people as tiers. When you only seek people who are above you and everyone else, then what are you really seeking? You're dismissing human nature. You're dismissing humanity, but yet you want people to see you for something. You cannot do that. You get what you give. So make sure that what you're giving is high quality, that it comes from your soul, so that when you receive, you're receiving exactly what you deserve. Go ahead. Your turn, badass.
I think respecting self too really nourishes the ego. You know, like the ego, when the quote nasty part of the ego comes out, it's because people feel lack, they feel insecure, they feel they don't want people to see what's really there, because they feel that these are the parts that, you know, are less than, you know, they don't want people to see that, so they act a certain way. But when you respect yourself and you really know yourself, you end up creating this phenomenal relationship with ego, and that you are exactly who shows up. There's no question, there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to be ashamed of, there's no need to shame other people or point things out to distract, because what you're doing is you're distracting people from your own true self. And I think that the more we step into this accountability piece, the more that we really own it, In the beginning, it is tough because you got to admit to shit that you did. You got to admit to bad choices. And yeah, there are mistakes out there, but you know how I feel about mistakes. There's really very few. Most of them are bad. Most of them are choices, and we have to admit that. But then, you own it. You don't have to shout it out to people. Oh, I effed up, and this is what I did. You could keep it to yourself, and then, but you got to forgive yourself, and you've got to let that piece go, and then step into the person that you're meant to be. And with regards to something that Gladiator Guru said about don't copy people, sometimes in your path of really discovering yourself, when you've lost yourself for so many years, you really don't even know who the hell you are. And the reason people copy sometimes because they don't know who they are. So they're copying, right? But instead of copying, take a step back and observe what it is about that person that you like, what it is about that person that you like, what it is about that person that you like. Then sit with it and decide, does that describe me? Does that align with the person that I want to be? You will in the end still become the person that you are meant to be because you'll be yourself. But there are traits, there's certain traits that you might like about that person, but you're not going to copy them exactly. You're not going to wear exactly, if you like the way they dress, that's fine, but make it into your own. The ones that make it into their own are the ones that understand self or are discovering themselves. The ones that copy exactly are the individuals who do not want to take the time for whatever their reason. They don't want to take the time to really understand who they are. So they'd rather use somebody else's stuff. They'd rather dress like somebody else. They'd rather behave like somebody else because they themselves cannot face what's within them that needs to change. This is interesting. In my growth, observation has become such an amazing tool in my toolkit, being aware of my external environment, aware of my internal environment. But it's become such an amazing tool in my kit, observation and then discernment, which is the term that Gladiator Guru hooked me onto. And so I didn't realize that sometimes I was using discernment. I didn't realize that that word existed, but that's what I was doing. And I would even sometimes watch a movie. It was a character in a movie where I would look at that and go, I really like the way that person's demeanor is. I really like the way they interacted. It's a fictional character, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm looking at that going, I like that. And little pieces stand out in my mind because one of the things that really is very important to me is kindness. And I could think of movies where little tidbits of a movie where the individual spoke very kindly, even with assertion, like trying, or not trying, but giving direction, but being very kind, And I looked at that and said, that's how I want to be. I want to be able to say what needs to be said, give instruction, even correction, but do it in a very kind, compassionate manner. And so every time I would see somebody that was doing that, I would sort of mimic that. Like I would look at their body language. I would listen to the way they said it. I would listen to the words that they used. But then I would allow it to pull into me, and then it would come out as me. But that takes practice. That takes understanding that you're creating yourself. I wasn't copying the person. I wasn't looking to be the other person. I was looking at it saying, what of that can I take for me? And the accountability piece was owning that in my transformation, that I may not get it right, and that's okay. Like that I if I do something wrong, I own it, and then I correct it, and I learn something from it. And then little by little, I just became me. And
what about those that
becoming,
I'm sorry, but what about those that think that they're doing everything you just said that you do, but they're not? It's like the movie. It always takes me back to the Bruce Willis movie when the little boy said, I see dead people, but they don't know they're dead. because I've encountered many, many people who repeat shit to me as though they said it. I've encountered a lot of people who I observe. I'm very observant, and a lot of things. I take a lot of notes in my head, but not on paper. And so, what would you tell somebody who you have seen that thinks they're doing exactly what you're saying? Like they're receiving, and then they're absorbing, and then they're customizing it, because that's what you said. They're customizing it to fit their spirit, and then when they um repackage it, it's their aura, it's their essence. Now, I've heard people say that that's what they do, and I'm listening to them saying, you sound not like you sound exactly as the original version. Yeah. So how would you like people tend to say that I'm rude and that I'm mean when I'm just being honest. They call me aggressive when I'm just being assertive. And I'm okay with whatever label I get, but I'm going to get my point out. Now, one thing I've noticed in the last couple of years, my edge has been a little more softer from when I want to tell people, what the hell are you doing? Are you mimicking me, or you? And it's not even, it's something like, I want you to be true. And of course, we learn from everything in life. We're not born a sage. So I'm glad you pointed that out. We need to be with people because that's how we learn. And we need to be with people because that's how we learn how to be softer, how to be harder, how to be real, how to stop being a lie. We need that. And we do need to absorb from every angle and then do exactly what you said. Take it in and customize it to our soul. And then we put it out. Because then when we put it out there, whether it's a written word that you're taking from somebody who already wrote it, you don't customize without saying where you got this from. And the thing is that everyone needs to be, that's why we say get a tribe, and you learn and you listen and you absorb. And that's how you learn who you are, what your capabilities are, because maybe where you came from, they weren't talking about that story. So sit with people. That's why it's important to pick your tribe that are aspiring. What is that thing? I know you know it, Laura.
Do you want me to answer the question?
People who talk about people, pick your tribe. Like, there's 3 steps to it. But anyway, sit with people who want to grow, who want to create businesses, who want to serve humanity by teaching them self-love and kindness and gratitude. Go ahead, Laura. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You were asking a question, and then you.
So yeah, you know what? I'm such a and I'm so terrible at that. So terrible.
You took accountability. Hello. That's wonderful. You took accountability.
But I've always been terrible at it. Even when I had my workshop at UB at the beginning of the month, Natasha was there. I would do the same thing, and then I'm like, oh wait, I asked a question. Anybody have something to say? But I know that that's just how I am too. So I have to like.
So can I answer it now?
Yes, answer, damn it.
You keep going. You said something, and it's all about accountability. What you do when somebody does that, it's important that part of the growth of your account, like you being accountable to yourself and to others, is also being called out by other people. Mm-hmm. And so if you're called out by somebody else, you have to, it may not be accurate, but it may be 100% accurate. You have to sit there and be honest. No, but the bottom line is, Gladiator Guru, nobody can, you have to admit the accountability. You have to admit to do it. So if you're called out, so somebody call them out on it. And if they're arguing the point, if they're immediately resisting, that's telling me they don't want to take accountability for it. And because they don't want to hear it, they don't want, like, if they're arguing, so no, I said that, I'm the one who wrote that, I'm the one who did that. And you're like, I have proof that you didn't. I've done this. This is what I'm saying in the growth, it's a learning curve. There are choices that I have made that I had to be accountable to. So in the beginning, as I was discovering myself, I did copy other people and project it out as me. And I got caught a few times, you know, like I got, and I started to say to myself, you know what? I don't want, I'm uncomfortable with being caught out because that's not, I don't want to be that person. So I had to take that step back and I had to look at myself and say, why do I do that? And it's the ego. It's, I want to be known for saying that, even though I didn't say that, or I want to be known for doing that, even though I didn't do it. But then I took that, I got rid of that ego piece. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to, again, really wanting to do the work. And unfortunately, Gladiator Guru, if the person's not willing to really face it and do the work, they will never see that. However, though, you have to keep doing your work and holding them accountable. Throw it out there. Throw it out there. Get somebody else to throw it out there. Because listen, there's been speculation. Some of it is proven speculation, but one of the people that I really do adore that is out in the public eye, that's an influencer, is Jay Shetty. I really do like Jay Shetty, like his personality. I like what he says. I like what he does. But there's been so much controversy with him because they said that he does that all the time, that a lot of the stuff that he regurgitates out in his videos, he acts as if he said it. And there's one woman who sat on a YouTube video and proved that as she would show his video of him saying it, and it would say the thing and then would put his name next to it. And then she would show the quote of the person or the video of the other person who said the like verbatim. Now he's refused to like acknowledge this. He's refused to acknowledge this woman, you know. Now, for me, I've lost a little respect for him because I don't agree with that. I'm right there with Gladiator Guru. It's like, listen, you're in a high position. There's nothing with throwing somebody hey, this is where I heard this. This is where this came from. But I do that all the time. When I hear a quote, I go back and I double check, triple check, quadruple check to see where that quote, who that quote is actually from, because it's all mixed up these days. You know, I put
unknown,
and I do put unknown sometimes. And then if I'm wrong and I misquote, I will actually go back. I find out the truth. I'll go back and correct. Hey, by the way, I heard this, but this is, you know. And there's nothing wrong with being that type of person, but that's a choice. That's a choice. I've learned to let go of that ego piece, that insecure part of my ego, and use my ego to give me that kick in the ass that I need to know, like my ego says to me, you got this, like you could do this. That's what my ego does. You know, you could do this. It's not a bruised ego. And when that bruised ego does show up, I know that's work that has to be done, but that took time for me to acknowledge, and I had to get very vulnerable. And there's a lot of people that are just not willing. They're just not willing. I do believe that shit hits the fan at some point. I do believe people get caught out. I do believe that karma hits and people do get, you know, but in a society where there's so little accountability, like, okay, so I said that. All right, big deal, moving on. They that's not real accountability. You know, it's our government, lawmakers, famous people, they have such little accountability for so many things that it gives other people that. But you know what? Since it can't be like fault all the time, I'm going to call people out. But I'm also going to say, I know what I said. People will know that it came from me. People know what I did. People know it came from me. And at some point, it will get caught. Like that person will get seen for who they are.
And I'm amazed at how many people will text me a picture of something they seen or comment or post, and someone that they know knows me, and it's my words and my names are not attached. I'm amazed at how many people find that and send it to me. And I'm like, it's whatever. I know I wrote it. And the thing is that, you know what? Your ego is twins with your spirit. And I've read a lot of stuff. I've saved a lot of stuff where they taught on Pinterest, on Instagram, and all over about killing your ego, how to kill your ego, how to always label people egotistical. Huh?
No, you were right all along. You've always said nurture your
And
ego, and it's
and
absolutely
everybody's like, change your mindset and change your life. And fine, that probably works for people, but it's not only your mindset. It's a family event. And people
it's
do
true.
not make it a family event, and then they bitch. I paid so much money for that workshop and it's not working, because you are separated from your family. And the thing is, in order to change your mindset into seeing the good and the kind and trusting in yourself, you got to feed your spirit kindness and gratitude, which equals grace. Okay? So you're walking in grace, which means you're always walking in your light. Then you nurture your ego that way. Because our egos that makes us make all these impromptu decisions, these what people deem as careless, and we're not in cahoots with ourselves, we're not in alignment, right? So what happens? It's riddled with anxiety. What is anxiety? Anxiety is the fear of fear. So you got to figure that out. So it's feed your spirit, nurture your ego, unfuck your brain. That's the order. You can't think about something and then feed your ego, or feed your spirit, because what are you feeding it then? Processed foods? Because now your spirit came second. When you are happy in here, it's like that nasal pump spray, or like my Vicks. When you feed this, it goes, and then you can think straight. It's not the other way around. I've tried it. I've listened to people who believe in that, and I'm listening to them saying, "What a crock of shit! Could they please just shut up?" Because they're spewing out all these positive affirmations and blah blah blah, and then you catch them off on something, and they're like total opposite of what they were just preaching. Okay, so that it's not working because I've experienced it, because I've witnessed it. When you feed your spirit, that's your true alignment. That's when everything else opens up. That's when that chest code clears up, and you can think straight. And your ego is like your biggest cheerleader, your number one fan, because now you're working in unison. You can't do that with one step at a time. It's a family affair. Okay? You are your greatest investment, and you are your worst enemy. So you got to choose which side of the seesaw you want to be on, or if you're going to be standing in the center, because that's what life is, a balance. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. What you cannot have is you belittling and bullying yourself on the bad days and forgetting how you got there on the good days. You got to keep an open mindset. You got to keep an open heart. You got to keep the airwaves clear. Go walk barefoot in your yard when you're feeling really, really, all twisted up like a salty pretzel. Go recharge your soul out in Mother Nature. You don't need pills. You don't need anything but go out and walk barefoot. And for those who do it, can tell you, right, Laura? It works. Go with yourself, even if you're like, fuck, 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 because that's my favorite line. Until, boop, something clicks, the door unlocks, and I'm in like Flint. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me get this going. Talk to yourself. Be your best friend. Be your best friend in the good days. You know that friend you want, that when you're feeling really bad, you feel like they should know you're feeling really bad and just pop up like slut magic and make you laugh? That's what you got to be for yourself. You got to be your number one fan, and you got to be that pañuelo de lágrimas, that tissue that when you cry, you're there. It's okay, baby. It's okay. We're going to do better tomorrow. When you don't have no one else in the world, be everything for yourself. And I'm going to tell you how you get there, through prayer. I believe in my God. But feed your spirit, nurture your ego, and unfuck your brain with everything that you've been taught. Let's start the process of unlearning. Go ahead, badass.
That's it. No, I think we're good. And we're at the end of the show.
Oh my God.
Perfect. This is perfect. So listen, we have one more day left of accountability. Okay. It's called You Got This. And we're going to be talking, if not now, when. And then get ready, because we're going to springboard into the second quarter, which is what's possible. Who is it that you really want to be? And we're going to learn how to understand ourselves, of why we have been this person for so long, this past and current person. We're going to be talking about understanding capabilities. We're going to be talking about beliefs. We're going to be talking about behaviors. The more you know about yourself, the easier it's going to be for you to change.
The hardest and the easiest, right?
The hardest, true enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you started off with was just becoming aware, accepting, acknowledging and accepting, and being accountable. But now we're also going to go a little backwards. We're going to help you understand why this happened, why this happened. And for some, that really helps them get to the next level, because sometimes you just do want to know why, it's, or the how.
Can you share a little of our conversation yesterday? Because my article that's soon to be published is Feed Your Spirit, Nurture Your Ego, Love Your Body Where It's At, and Unfuck Your Brain. But you mentioned something yesterday about the body, and I think it's very important for Thursday's presentation about loving yourself. I'm not gonna mess up because I don't remember verbatim, but then how we've been talking about our bodies and what it's doing, but you brought it up yesterday, which was really, really, it really impressed me, and I felt it, because I'm always talking about it, but when you hear somebody else out the blue mention it, you're like, oh, okay.
Remind me, cue me, because I don't remember.
You were talking about what message do you need to discover, or what is it that you need to find, why your body's holding on to what it is holding on to.
Oh, yeah.
And because, I'm always talking about that. But when I heard it from you yesterday, I was like, yes, because you know what? Sometimes what we say enters our ears again, and we have a better understanding. But when somebody says it, when we're not discussing it, that's how it really, it touches you, and then it makes you think. So, do you remember?
Yeah, it was based on a book that I'm reading, which I'm not going to get into right now, but it's based on the fact that we have parts of us that stem from childhood, and each one works a very specific way, which you talk about all the time anyway. So this was so up your alley. But like for me, I lost all that. I was heavy for so long. I lost all that weight. I hadn't been that size since I was like 30. And then I gained it back, and so there's something within me that's needing to hold on to that weight, that there's something in me that decided that the weight represents something that I have, and I have not fully gotten rid of it yet. So when I got rid of it, it became very vulnerable and needed to put the weight back on, because I do everything right, and so does Gladiator Guru. I haven't gone this long without eating processed anything. I mean, months. I'm talking. I eat a healthy diet. So Gladiator Guru hardly eats anything. So is it hormones? Is it that? It could be.
Is it lack of sex? I don't know. It could be so many things.
It could be, right. But but really though, because according to genetics, we have certain programs in our genes, but they have to be turned on. And so is it hormones? Is it this? Or is it really truly that inner piece of us, that part that's actually controlling all that other stuff? And it's worth checking out. That's the thing. That's why I'm actually reading this one book, and I sent it to Gladiator Guru, and we'll discuss it at another time. I just want to
we definitely will.
I want to get into it a little bit more, understand it before I start talking more about it. But it'd be interesting, because I'm ready to let go of any bullshit. Like I really am. Like I look at myself every single day in the mirror and go, this does not represent this. Like the emotional and mental me now, this is so not representing. This is so my last, 20 years of life. This body completely represents me in my second marriage, because this came in my second marriage. So for me, it's like, I'm not letting go of something, and this is not going to work for me, because when people look at me, when they look through the video, they see a skinnier me, because I just don't hold it in my face. But when they see me in person, a lot of people are a little taken back, because I don't put that out there. And then I'm heavy, and I wasn't, and then I was, and then I wasn't, and then I am again. So I look at that and go, God, this really isn't me. And I'm done with this, but I haven't been able to figure out. I always just say, I want to zip out of the fat suit. I want to zip out, you know, but for some reason, the fat suit zipped right back on. So I'm hell bent on figuring out what that is this year. So this is stuff that we're learning. And the beauty is that what we're going to be learning, adding to what we already know, is all the information that we're going to be sharing with you for the next 3 months, because that's what it's all about. It's about behaviors, beliefs, programming. It's about the programming that we put into our brains since we were children. So this is going to be really powerful. And that's why we really want to emphasize to you the importance of sharing this information, because everybody needs to hear this. You know, if we hoard this information, that's just proving to us who we are, because that's coming from a lack mindset. You know, I don't want anybody else to see this because I want to do this myself. And that we're hoping that you move beyond that, because there's people that need to hear it. Those that are going to be receptive to it will hear it. Mm-hmm. Those that aren't ready to receive it won't do them a bit of good. They'll just poo-poo it or just go on their merry way. But both Gladiator Guru and I would love to be able to reach the masses, because we're sinking here. Like, we really are. And the only way change is going to occur in the world is one at a time. Like, we have to change ourselves, and then we collectively change everything.
Yes. And you know what? When you stand up for what you believe in, before we end this, it's not the yellow brick road aligned with poppies and roses. You know, when you decide to make a change, you will always be faced with difficulties. And that's why people, what's that word when an army goes back? That's why they revert back to who they were, because the work seems too difficult, or they're faced with too many obstacles. Without obstacles, you can't build a character. So when the road seems to be getting steeper and more rockier, and it's raining and it's slippery, that's when you are the badass that you were born to be, because that means you're on the right path, because easy is just easy. So let's dedicate our time to being better, to learning more, you know, and to making change within ourselves, so that then we can assist those around us. And let's do it, and let's put our armor on, and let's go to battle with the obstacles that we are going to face to get to the other side of this. That's what we need to set in our minds. Healing isn't easy, but neither is searching for your purpose. Neither is changing and unlearning what you have acquired in your lifetime. So the decision is always yours. Are you, or are you not? And then do it, because you got this.
Yep. And we're here. We're here to help you get through it. And you're here to help us, because that's the way it works. All right. Thank you so much for coming on today. We will see you on Thursday. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.